Hey, what's up? It's Josh from Earthcaller, and you're listening to Collision on Voice FM. Hello, Josh speaking.
Hi, Josh. It's Kat.
G'day. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
That's good. Well, I guess actually you're probably a bit more than good at the moment with everything that's happening for you guys in 2018.
Thank you for pointing that out. And yeah, I agree. We are actually doing a bit better than good at the moment. Like, to get like number 4 on the independent charts and have like the tickets moving as they are for our tour at the moment it's really making us super content and fulfilled. And we're glad that the amount of pride that we had for the music that we were going to put out has been, has been acknowledged by our fans. We've received literally infinite messages of like support and kind words, and it's just been like a really nice experience.
Well, also the signing to Entertainment One for overseas distribution and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that actually, that's our first release on the record label, which is sick. I've actually just been, I actually just got informed quite recently by them. They've sort of serviced our songs to college radio over there, because obviously like Earthcaller doesn't have the same kind of fan base in America as we do in Australia, because we haven't toured there. But they serviced our stuff to college radio, and our first single, Fall, ended up being the 4th most requested song on college radio, like over the continent.
Right.
Yeah, which is which blew my mind actually. Like I've also just been getting all these like notifications on Twitter and via email of when they've played our songs, and there's one radio station in California right now that's played like 6 songs off the record.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Exciting times, definitely. And you guys have only this is only your 5th year going. You started in 2013.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was sort of like a little bit of like a pre-game before the 2013 startup. Like it was just basically me just trying to get the lineup right, which took a few tries. As you may have heard, I believe that Alex Severs from Kill Your Stereo described our band member list as, he said that he'd had less waiters in his life than Earthcaller has had members. And I laughed when he said that. I thought it was funny because it's probably true. But essentially the band's been like 5 years in the making. But having been the only member that's been in the band for the whole duration of that period, I can confidently say that Earthcaller hasn't felt like as much of a home as much as it does now with the people that are in it. We've already began writing for the follow-up album, and I'm doing like one-on-one writing sessions with each of the members, and like the guys in the band are so talented that it's just been this really organic process. Like it's everything's like really great at the moment. Like I feel a bit embarrassed just being all happy and smiley about it all, but it really is like that at the moment.
But that's the thing about being in a band. You have your times where it's really hard and tough, and you have your times when you're on top of the world, and hopefully you'll have a lot more of those on top of the world times coming.
Yeah, but fortunately in my experience I've learned to savor those top of the world moments, because they're usually just the moments between kicks and the balls.
Well, I wanted to ask, this is your 2nd album, or did you only have an EP before this?
No, this is our 2nd full-length album, yeah.
Right, and you had 1 EP and 2 full-length albums now.
Yeah, the EP was just me kind of just sort of writing an album by myself and just starting to put it out. It was probably undercooked. I should have thought about it. But yeah, that EP went really well in Slavic Europe, which is real strange.
Wow, yeah, you started off with an international audience.
Yeah. But yeah, that 2nd full length.
You guys, your name has been around, especially in the Melbourne scene. You've always had a reputation as being a band to go and see live. And I'm wondering, did you spend a few years when you started getting your lineup sorted, hitting the live scene and making sure you had that together?
Well, the short answer to the question is yes. But the long answer is that basically what happened was, after the EP, which was sort of just something that sort of went under the radar mostly, we started releasing the singles from our then upcoming record Degenerate. And we released Your Enemy, which popped off insanely in 2014. And then we released Faceless King. And at that stage, we literally only had 2 songs out, and we had a record deal offer from Unified, and they put us on the festival. And so basically we were just totally thrown in the deep end, straight away pretty much. But fortunately for me at the time, the members that were in the band were Lachlan Monty. He played for Make Them Suffer at one point. He's a great guitarist and literally the best as far as stage presence goes. I still definitely got to give credit there. Our drummer Luke had played in several bands with Monty prior to that, and he was like a really good drummer. And Anth was like, he'd been playing in bands for like the better part of a decade. So our original lineup was like nothing to scoff at. And so we kind of just got thrown in the deep end, and we just, had to learn how to swim, really. And then I think because of that, we ended up just sort of stepping out the gate, seeming like a formidable force. But honestly, in comparison to the way that the guys are playing now, like the lineup that we have now, it's significantly better, but we work really hard. Like the band has become like a professional band. Like we have people that sit in on our practices and give us criticism, like trusted kind of advisors that are professionals at doing that kind of thing. Like we've really gone to work for this record.
Right, yeah. Awesome. And well, you do have an East Coast tour planned for this album, the 23rd of February, hometown at the Workers Club in Melbourne.
That's right, and the tickets are selling fast. So if you want to come to that, I would buy a ticket now. Like the link is it's all over our socials.
Yeah, and the 24th you're in Sydney, and then the 2nd of March you're going up to Brisbane, and that's the Crystal Death Tour for Australia, of course. And you've got Advocates and Heists coming along with you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What are your plans for trying to make it overseas this year?
Oh, yeah. We've got we definitely have plans for that. We, because of Entertainment One and their profile, they had the plan that because our record was actually ready a lot earlier than when it came out. But I guess, through their experience and knowledge, they essentially said to us that they weren't prepared to put out the record until we formed a strong enough team behind the release. And they wanted us to essentially lock in like international booking agents, management before they picked a release date. And we worked really hard, in conjunction with them and our liaison in the States, Shane Frisbee. And what we managed to do was secure a US and Canadian booking deal with Artery Global with our guy Sean Mott. And then from there, Sean Mott secured our European booking agent who also works for Artery Global. And right now they're both slogging away at sorting out European and US and Canadian tours for us. And there's a few prospects that are happening right now, but I know that I'm not allowed to talk about it. So
Right. So even once you get a record deal, sometimes you have to work for it after you've got it.
See, the funny thing is that like a lot of young bands and like a lot of musicians in general, they believe that the hard work is trying to get a record deal, right? And it's not as if it was easy to secure a major label deal with a US label that's worth $800 million on the stock market. Like it's not like that was easy. But what they don't understand is that the real work actually begins when you're signed. Like if you thought that you had to work hard to get signed, like the amount of work that happens after that is almost it blows your mind. It's pretty overwhelming because there's like significantly more pressure. Like before it was just you just trying to achieve the best that you can. But now there's a team of people that have put in time and work into, and the label puts in money and stuff like that. And then there's pressure behind it. And so you need to rise to the occasion essentially. And there's been several artists over time that have sort of buckled beneath the pressure, and having experienced it for the first time in my life with the creation and release process of Crystal Death, I can definitely understand why they would buckle under the pressure. It wasn't really an easy thing, but we got number 4 on the air charts. That, I guess it's a symbol of the band having risen to the occasion after a lot of hard work.
So you've been thrown into the deep end, but you've learnt how to deal with it and learnt, I guess, how to be a professional band.
Yeah, that's it. And to sort of rehash what you were talking about before with the current lineup, the current lineup, essentially none of the guys except for Joel had ever been in a what you would call a professional band before. Joel's our drummer, by the way.
Yeah.
And when I was in the past selecting band members to be in Earthcaller, I would always sort of try and look for people who had, the resume for it. But the difference in approach that I had this time for this lineup was actually to sort of just pick people who were capable but hadn't had the opportunity, and it worked because they were super hungry and willing to work. They sort of just, I don't know, there's just sort of been this big theme in Earthcaller of if you throw us in the deep end, we will learn how to swim, Yeah. And the new guys have carried on that tradition. It's making me stoked.
You didn't get people in the band who were already jaded.
Yeah. That is absolutely right. Yeah, they're like I'm 27 years old. The rest of the guys in the band are younger, barring Joel. And yeah, I actually had I have like a little joke with the guys. Like, if you're looking for band members to start a new band, you want to get them at around like 21, 22, because they're old enough that they're not 18-year-old douches, but they're not so old that they've tasted the bitter taste of defeat too many times to be able to succeed.
And there's a lot to be said for just having blind belief.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like blind belief is what took me from being a reformed ex-criminal into somebody who could carry himself in the world of the entertainment industry. At the time, I didn't realize that I was struggling to cope with that, but in hindsight, like that wasn't an easy sort of transition for me.
Yeah, and I guess Degenerate was sort of sorting out that former criminal past you had, and the new album, Crystal Death, well, you've been sorting out more personal issues with, I guess, relationships in yourself in this album.
Yeah, that's right. Like, Degenerate was basically, it was me just trying to work out what my place was in the world that I knew was sort of corrupt, like that I was jaded on. And I was trying to find the hope in the world to sort of, I guess, plant my feet into the ground and then be able to like work on myself. And then this album, I decided that I would stop being a pussy and I would actually sort of talk about what I really go through, you know? And, talk about the fact that I've struggled with drugs in my life, talk about the fact that I've, just really sort of bare my soul, like talk about, like, it's crazy how cathartic writing a record and writing lyrics are, because like this time 2 years ago, inside I was feeling so cripplingly lonely that at times I would just be overwhelmed by it, like, have to sit down because of how alone I felt. And the crazy thing is that like, I write these songs, I put out this record, the record's doing great, and then on the other side of that, I don't have those feelings anymore. And, I'm able to be like, I've got like a really good partner that keeps me on the right track. And because of the fact that I chose to work on myself with this album, I feel like for the first time in my life, I'm able to be like a worthy recipient of a good partner, and being able to reciprocate that like love and support for them too.
You're not hiding anymore.
No. I guess like hiding is such a good way to put it, because I've sort of always done that. Like, for my whole life, I've sort of found myself to have been sort of underestimated. I was always the little guy. The bigger guys would try me, and I would sooner be knocked out than sort of let them roll over me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But eventually I learned that being underestimated isn't a curse as much as it is a gift, because if people underestimate you, then you can make them regret that, And in a sense, like this album, even though it's sort of inwardly focused, the outward effect of it is that it's sort of silenced anybody who ever really sort of doubted us.
Yeah, no, that's like proof, you're coming at this now, you feel like you've got the best lineup you've ever had. You're all giving it your heart, and you've given the album your heart, and it's all paying off. And that it's interesting. You sort of have like a very sort of clear understanding of what's going on at our team. It's actually kind of blown my mind. But the fact that my heart was truly in it and not hidden, but like really just sort of put all the way out there, was significantly more terrifying in the lead up, because it's like, what if it doesn't go well? What if people don't like it? And then if you're like wearing your heart on your sleeve when you put something out there and people don't like it, the fear of it being rejected is like the fear of you being rejected, which is something that everybody's afraid of, and essentially but we were happy to see that the record did go well. And in the fact that it did go well, with us putting our hearts in it, it made it like a million times more rewarding, Well, it's been a tough struggle for you, but you've never given up. You've seen it through, and this is why you saw it through, everything that's starting to happen now.
Yeah, and the phone call I had previous to this interview is like a really good example of that, because like I was just again, I can't really sort of reveal too much, but I had a conversation that was quite an exciting one, where, put it this way, it looks as though the fans of ours from the States that we've not going to on this tour aren't going to be disappointed for too much longer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Have to keep an eye out on the Earthcaller Facebook page, which of course you just Earthcaller on Facebook. Easy to find.
Right.
I did see you myself live a couple of years ago, and you guys, I mean, you've probably got a slightly different lineup now than you had then, but you were pretty good then, and you're
cool.
still the same. So
Yeah.
people should definitely go out and on the East Coast go and see these shows now, because like next time you come, you're going to be in major events and charging, 60, $80 a ticket. So people should definitely go and see these shows now.
Well, I'll make everybody a promise. If these 3 shows sell out, I won't ever dog the boys and make tickets $60. We'll keep it at 50 or less forever.
There you go. Secure your future cheap tickets.
Oh yeah, and honestly, like we've always been like a pretty good live band,
Yeah.
But right now it's like next level. Like we play and it sounds like the record. And there's like a light show, and there's like our sound guy Chris Samos is just an absolute beast. Like I really feel excited that for the first time in a long time, obviously 3 years between albums being released, for the first time in a very long time, like I get to step out on the stage and know that I'm bringing something to the fans that is of a new level. It's something new,
And you guys are on top of the world, and you feel great on stage. I'm sure that that's all going to come out in your shows too, and it's going to really go off. Is there something you want to say to your fans to get them to not only come and see your show, but to grab hold of the album?
Well, there is definitely something I would like to say to our fans. When we were making this record, we were really trying to put something together that showed them enough respect as far as the product goes. And I know for certain that Earthcaller has literally the most loyal fans out of like any band that I know of. And I just want to say to our fans that loyalty and the support and kindness that they've shown us over the years has not gone unnoticed and unappreciated.
Yeah, awesome. No, it sounds great. And you guys, sounds like you deserve everything and you've earned everything that you're getting at the moment. And it's an exciting band to watch.
Thanks very much for saying so.
No, I'm really happy for it. There seems to be a few Aussie bands doing okay at the moment, and I'm happy for you that you're one of them.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Yeah, it is like a very sort of joyful thing to be a part of, like the surge in respect that Australian heavy music is getting.
Yeah, definitely. I do wish you the best of luck, and yeah, have a great time on the tour, and people should definitely try and catch these tour dates.
Yeah.
The Earthcaller Crystal Death National Tour, and everyone else should keep an eye on the Earthcaller Facebook page for details of any further show announcements that might possibly be coming.
Yeah, plenty of exciting stuff coming up. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Thanks. Cheers.
All right. Bye.